I can't figure out the motor structure on this thing. So this is a 3001 driver. And I'm trying to figure out, there's gotta be two in there, compacted somehow. But no matter which way I flip the magnet, it doesn't seem like there's any bias in any direction. It's really weird. It's like a unimagnet or something. See? So there's no way I can find any clues as to which way the magnet is going. It just seems to be like there is no magnet. But that's not possible, right? So where's the magnetic energy coming from? Is there any other tests I could do? Like, see how I'm doing this? I don't even feel any difference. Like, it actually feels exactly the same. It feels almost like this isn't even a magnet. It feels almost like it's just metal all the way across. But these are 100-watt speakers. And look how small this thing is. This is a 80-watt speaker with a 1-inch voice coil. That's a 2-inch voice coil. And yeah, this one definitely has, like, you know, magnetic attraction properties that are obviously weird. And you could, like, tell which way things are. See? Like, just like any other usually that's how it works. You could tell, like, you know, the magnet has all these, you know, it doesn't have even flux all the way across, right? That's how magnets typically work. But for this thing, it manages to be smaller, but stronger. I run up to 200 watts without any issues, and yet it doesn't seem to have any magnetic bias. I don't know how this works, and I have been taking these things kind of apart, but I don't want to, like, destroy them too much because they're destructive when you take them apart. But I'm kind of mystified as to how this works, just because there's, like, no way for me to find any clues as to how they did this, because this is, like, probably the most powerful driver I've ever seen. And it's so compact. Like, the magnet is pretty much the same size as the voice coil, right? I mean, look at that. And the voice coil is actually wider than the inner rim of the woofer. So the voice coil is, like, right about, yeah, you actually feel it. The voice coil is hooked up to here. So the voice coil straddles the diaphragm at about a third. So about here. But nonetheless, it's a very, very, very loud speaker that manages to be a two-way, because a tweeter fits in there. This is only the woofer. And for a woofer to be this powerful, I don't understand how that's possible. It manages to actually be louder than the LS50s. And it's that big. So, yeah, if you guys come across anything like it, or any other drivers like that, I would be very, very curious. Yeah, it's actually a kept driver, I guess, if that adds any more detail. It's a very, very strong driver. That's what I like about it too. So they made it, like, out of, like, a really cool, like, self-dampening poly. It's, like, impossible to bend. And lots of right angles. But the straddling voice coil, I think, is a really clever idea. It also has those radial fins. What's interesting is that Vienna Acoustics tried to patent those radial fins, but they're 4 years too late. But those radial fins, they work as a kind of, especially with the vessel, like that, since the back is tapered. So what Vienna Acoustics did was they also tried using a tapered back, because the back piston doesn't only push backward. The little, I guess Kev called them ribs for some reason. I guess that's a musical term. It's a skeletal structure, they often call them too. So maybe that's why they call them ribs. Yeah, the ribs, they actually are thinner towards the outside and thickest towards the center, and they also are denser towards the center, which means with every backstroke, not only does it push air, like, backward, it pushes air outward, because any air that's trapped in there would be forced to vacate this way, because there's more distance out here than there's in there, right? So as air is being pushed backward, it's then it's being forced outward and backward at the same time, and then it's actually being forced back inward by the rear of the back chassis of that. And the back chassis of that is a ellipse, and it has a port that is front, like it's about there, about an inch back, and so it reflects off the back and then gathers into this flared port here, and then draws itself down and shoots itself down at an angle that way. So the port is actually angled out, like off axis, not on any direct axis. It's a diagonal axis. So it's a really weird design, and I have a lot of like drivers, of course, and I can't find anything like it dating back to like KLH or anything. They're old steel suspension style drivers or anything that would remind me of this style of motor, because it's a very interesting motor. Because what I like about it is that it's not actually magnetic, and it doesn't, see, it's like it actually doesn't. If I were to use this to make a motor, for instance, I wouldn't be afraid of it. Somehow it's able to contain its magnetic field while outputting 100 watts, and while it's not plugged in, it doesn't seem like it's magnetic at all. It doesn't have any north or south pole. It doesn't have any sort of strange characteristics as far as its magnetic field geometry. It's completely symmetrical. I don't know what other kind of tests I could do to see if maybe there's some hidden geometry behind it, besides literally just breaking it open, and that is something that I don't want to do. So yeah, if you guys know anything more about it, it would be cool if you could share, because I'm just trying to figure out as much as I can about this just for fun. Thanks.